This video is going to discuss a God Roll craft for the Void Machine Gun Retrofit Escapade, which is a Season of the Seraph weapon. This should be on your high priority list to craft this weapon before Lightfall. It's a very important weapon. If they do buff machine guns next season, then it will be even better. But right now, it's actually breaking the game as it is right now because of how it works with volatile rounds. So I'll discuss basically the frame of the weapon, the stats of the weapon, and then I'll get on to the bad traits and the good traits of the weapon and what you want to put on. I'm actually looking at the wrong weapon because I've got two. This is the weapon that I'm looking at. So it's a rapid fire frame machine gun. So you need to understand that there's good stats and bad stats that are accompanied with the frame of the weapon. So I'll give you an example. A high impact frame machine gun would obviously be a lot lower in RPM, but it would have bonuses like higher range stat, higher stability, but lower handling, right? Whereas a RPM of 900, a fast fire rate machine gun will have poor range, poor stability, really good handling, and really good reload. Bungie does this to balance out all the archetypes of the weapons so that they have their own unique feeling. But if you know the bad perks of a weapon, bad stats, sorry, then you need to spec for the bad stats of the weapon to bring those stats up so that it has the bonuses of a high impact frame machine gun whilst having the bonuses of it being a fast fire machine gun. So then you've got everything going for it. Once you understand that, you can build out your weapons perfectly for how you want them. And also, because it's a 900 RPM machine gun, it takes full benefit of volatile rounds. The faster your RPM, the more DPS you do with volatile rounds, which is why this would be better than corrective measure, for example. That's an adaptive frame machine gun. It ain't going to do what this machine gun can do. This is why it's important to craft it. And you do want to craft it. Don't just settle for a standard roll. Even if you've got target lock, you need to go ahead and craft it. If you're serious for PvE, you need to go and craft it. Definitely, it's an insane machine gun, honestly. So that's understanding that. The origin traits, it's got ambush and Seraph synergy. Seraph synergy is a big pass for me. For this machine gun, I like Seraph synergy, but for this, no, not so much. Ambush is good. It gives you a load of different bonuses. The problem with it is, I thought this was better than what it was before I tested it. When I tested it, I realised it ain't that good. I'll show you that test coming up, but it's still worth to put on. I suppose it's still better than this. So put ambush on, and then run backup mag. The mistake that people will make with this is they'll put boss spec or major spec in. If you do that, your mag size will go down. The bigger your mag, the more DPS you will do. The more total damage you will do, the bigger your mag size. Forget about the 8% damage, 6 to 8% damage bonus you get from boss spec or major spec. Forget about that. You're going to be doing enough damage anyways with everything else going on. That's it. You don't need to put that on. There'll only be specific scenarios where you would like put major spec on. Maybe in a Nightfall solo, maybe you put major spec on instead. But then again, you wouldn't. Backup mag's the player all day, right? Because you get an increased magazine size, which is going to gel with the perks that I've got on. Now, you can get a bigger mag size than this. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Well, I'm going to get to it now. So I'll go on to the craft itself. I'll explain the stats of the gun. So the stats of the gun: impact cannot be affected by this gun. Basically, it's a 900 RPM. It's linked to 25 impact. You can't change that. Range is important on this machine gun. The reason why is because, as I've already told you, the base range on this machine gun is poor, which means you're going to do less damage in higher end content. See, the range drop off for this machine gun right now is 44 meters or 40 meters plus, which means I can do max damage at a further away distance from an ad or a champion or a boss. If I've got a 20 range machine gun, it's a bullet hose. It ain't doing enough damage at a further distance away. Now, you can't always be that close. In low end and mid end content, you can be really close. Not always, alright? So you need to account for that. So range is very important to you on this gun. Get it on there. Get a good start distribution going with it. You have the opportunity to do that. It's a craft video, right? You have the opportunity to pick what you want. Definitely have range in this. If you have a 20 range start, you're not going to get... the machine gun's going to be less consistent for damage. Stability is important for the gun because it's a 900 RPM machine gun. It kicks. And the less crits you get, the less damage you get. So stability is also kind of linked to DPS, because if you're unstable with a machine gun and you're getting body shots, the perks aren't proccing as well as they could. So stability is important, and if you're on PS4 last gen Xbox, then you need to spec for stability maybe even more than what I did. Handling isn't that important because, as I've already said, 900 RPM machine guns have a high handling stat. You're going to have the high handling anyways, and handling isn't really a factor in this. You're going to ADS quickly enough. Reload speed is important to the machine gun. If you're on a hunter, it's not as important, but I have future plans to maybe use this machine gun on a Void Titan or a Void Warlock. Those classes need help with reload. Well, Void Titan, not so much if I use Rally, but I might not be using Rally. I don't know. Might not be even using that. So I still wanted some reload on the gun because I'm thinking about using it elsewhere. But on a hunter, you don't need reload that much. But I would just suggest you put it on anyways, because they may nerf this build. If they nerf the build, the machine gun's still usable in other capacities. But that might revolve around you having to have a reload. So I always plan for future with perks. I don't just think about now. I'm not putting myself in my box and be small-minded. You always think about later on. Like in Lightfall, I might need reload. Might not need it now, but I might need it then. So I've got reload on it. So the enhanced intrinsic frame is plus 10 range I went with for the reasons I just said. The more range, the less range drop off damage you get, the more damage you do. So plus 10 range is for me the best stat to use. Then we've got Hammerforged Rifling as our barrel. So the only couple of barrels that you would choose, here's the stats of each one. Small bore would be a good one because you only lose 3 range and you gain a lot of stability. And stability is good on this machine gun, honestly. Whatever it takes to get them crits. If you find yourself struggling to control it, go small bore. Honestly, I love small bore on some weapons. Really favourite of that one. You could choose it. This one, no, not so much. Full bore offers the most range, but look at the stability and handling. If you run this with full bore, which I did run this machine gun with full bore when I was leveling it up, and I didn't like it. It was all over the place, the reticle and all that stuff. I was like, no, I don't like full bore. So that, yeah, you're getting more range, but that range doesn't matter if you can't control the recoil very well. So I didn't like full bore, so I didn't use it. Hammerforge for me is the best because it gives me the range I want, but it's no penalties to stability or handling. It's a flat out buff, and it's a better version of extended barrel because extended barrel is the same range, but it offers a penalty. This one doesn't. So I love Hammerforge rifle on this. Arrowhead break, no, you don't need handling like that. Fluted barrel is a fan favorite for people, but for this I don't think so because it's offering too much of a range buff. So small bore would be better than fluted barrel. So you two options, in my opinion, are either hammerforged rifling or small bore. But players are specific to themselves. Let them choose whatever barrel they want. So the mag size is very important to the DPS of the gun. You need to get this correct. And in my opinion, I thought about this long and hard. There's only two options that you want to choose. Steady rounds, no. Alloy mag, because the machine gun reloads fast anyways if you were to do that with an empty mag. So no, you wouldn't use that. A penny mag is a good option. It's probably the third best one. It offers a slightly bigger mag size than mine, 6 rounds, but 6 rounds to me is not good enough for the penalty I get to reload speed. So no, I wouldn't use this. So penny mag, no. Flared mag, well, no, because the mag size is too low. Even though I do love flared magwell on weapons, this machine gun ain't like this. It isn't a primary. Flared magwell's like a primary type perk. It's not for like this machine gun. So no. Extended mag's probably going to be what everyone chooses because you get the highest mag. So this technically will offer you the highest total damage because you'll get the extra 11 rounds. Bear in mind with the perk that I've got, you're going to get even more rounds with it. Only a little bit, mind. It ain't all that with the extended mag, and look at the hit to reload speed. So I would say you either go extended mag or tac mag. I went with tac mag because I'm thinking about the future. I'm thinking about reload speed on Warlock and Titan. I'm thinking I might need to do this. Bear in mind, you can change your mag size at any point. You're not locked into it. Like I know someone's gonna tell me you should have chose extended mag. What are you doing with your life? Well, guess what? I can quickly change. At any point you tell me I'm wrong, I can change. Then I'm right. So I'm not wrong. I'm never wrong, am I? Obviously, I'm just joking. It's just people always. It just gripes me that everyone's sort of like dead strict with the mag thing. with mag perks on weapons and barrels. When that's not really the thing about the weapon, it's the enhanced traits. So tac mag or extended mag is what I suggest, either or, whichever one you want. I went with tac mag because I still value a little bit of reload speed for other builds in the game as opposed to hunter. Accurized rounds gives the most range, but it's hitting other stuff. Um, no, I don't want that one. And it's hitting the mag size, what I've just talked about. So tac mag or extended. So the enhanced traits I chose were 4 times the charm and target lock. Talk about the bad perks first. Zen moments PvP. Turnabout, no. It shields. You don't need this. Freedom Frenzy, whilst good, that's more leaning to ad clear, but you don't need ad clear with this weapon. Like you don't need to spec for ad clear because the build surrounding the machine gun's going to revolve around ad clear anyways. Heating up, no. This is PvP. Field prep is fantastic. It's the second best perk in this column. If I didn't have access to 4 times, this is what I would be choosing. But honestly, 4 times is much better because it gives you more damage. So 4 times is better. Objectively for damage. Stats for all, no. This is ad clear, but we've already got all the ad clear we could ever want in the game. So no, it's just for a better reload. But no, you don't need that. 4 times the charm's then the best. The reason being is because it's a massive magazine, so the opportunity to get lots more ammo. So for every hit you're getting 2. For every couple of hits you're getting the 2 rounds to the mag. So it's huge. Now, what's the difference between enhanced and standard? Well, the only difference is you get an extension of time. I don't recommend that you spend the mats on enhanced. I've done it because I want to dump some mats into a gun, and I felt as though this was a gun worthy of that to get the gold border. You won't get the gold border if you don't do this, but for the most people that doesn't matter to them. So just put on standard 4 times the charm. You don't need the enhanced version. It just gives you an increased time. But think about it. You're hitting a boss with a 900 RPM machine gun. Do you really think enhanced is going to make a difference? No. So you don't need it. But I've got it on because, as I've just told you, I'm dumping mats into the gun. Target lock. Enhanced target lock. So what's the difference between that and standard? Well, just first, actually, sorry, the bad perks. Tap the trigger PvP. Frenzy's a 15% damage bonus, nowhere near as good as target lock. Rampage is ad clear. We've got ad clear already. Golden Tricorn, whilst a decent perk, it's too awkward to use. It's nowhere near as good as what I've got on. Vorpal weapon, 10% damage bonus, poor on this machine gun compared to what we can get. One for all. Don't need this either, so it's target lock all the way. So standard target lock will stack up to 4 times on the duration you're hitting a target. At maximum stacks, you get 40% damage bonus. The reason why you want the enhanced one, you definitely want to get the enhanced one, is because you get an extra 5%. So you'd be 45% all in. That's more damage. It's more total damage if you do that. So go with enhanced target lock. It's worth doing it. You have the opportunity to get more damage, you may as well do it. We have the opportunity with crafting. We never had this opportunity in the past before crafting wasn't in the game. So put enhanced target lock on. So that's the craft. That's what I recommend. As for the build that you would use with this, so you would use Grafalcon, the exotic chestplate, which grants volatile rounds after exiting invisibility. There's other things going on with it, but I'll just briefly explain it. So you're going to have a gameplay loop of infinite volatile rounds with a build I'm going to show you. You would use Marksman's Dodge over Gamblers because you need to have your gun loaded just in case it isn't. I know Weaken Clear's in the game, but Weaken Clear ain't in the game next season. It won't be. Well, if it is, I'll be shocked. So, yeah, Marksman's Dodge with this build is better than Gamblers. You need to have your weapon loaded, right, after exiting because you can't wait for that reload. Vortex Grenade we've got on. So this is the gameplay loop. Stylish Executioner, Vanish and Step. So when you start initially an encounter, you can vanish, have your machine gun load ready, and then start shooting. That will then proc Stylish Executioner for every kill, but there's a 2-second inner cooldown which will not let you reproc Stylish Executioner. So let's say for every other kill that you get, you're going to reproc Invisibility, therefore reprocking volatile rounds, which makes it amazing for ad clear, ultras, bosses, everything, right? But there's a variation of this which I'm going to talk about in a minute. Just fragments I had on, right? Doesn't matter too much. Echo of Starvation, Leeching, Persistence, Dilation. I haven't got Undermine alongside with a Horde on, but There's another volatile perk, which doesn't matter for this. You could put it on if you want it. You defeat targets with grenades, you gain volatile rounds. That would be important to have on a Warlock and Titan. For this build, you don't need it. So that's the ad clear setup. But what you could do for DPS setup, which in my opinion is better, is Trapper's Ambush. That way you double invis. So you start the DPS with a Trapper's Ambush, you exit invisibility, you proc the volatile rounds. You do your entire mag, then after that you do a vanishing step. Yeah? And then you've got so much more time of volatile. Because you ain't proccing Stylish Executioner on a boss unless there's ads surrounding the boss. That means leaving ads up, that means risk. So there's two variations on the build. Stylish Executioner is for ad clear. Trapper's Ambush is a better setup for like total for DPS when you solo DPS in a boss or something like that, right? So that's what I recommend with that. As I said, you can stack other mods. Don't pay attention to my stats because I'm currently organising my hunter stats for Grandmasters and stuff like that. So don't pay attention. This isn't the armor what I'm going to be using next week and stuff like that. It's just what I've got on, and I'm currently clearing vault space and stuff like this. So high energy fire stacks with a Font of Might. Then I've got Reap and Well Maker to make a well, and then I've got Elemental Charge. So when I pick up the well, I'm high energy fire, and I also get Font of Might. I've only got one Font of Might on. I know you can stack more, but I didn't go all the way with it. Solo Operative and Weak and Clear. So the Solo Operative is going to stack with everything. Weak and Clear is a debuff, so it will stack with my buffs. So you don't need to tether so much this season. Next season you're going to have to maybe tether. This season you don't, because Witherhoard's going to give you that. So obviously we go like this. There'll be a couple of tests coming up. The range test, ambush test, test of champions, killing them without champion mods with the gun, and a solo DPS test on Grasp, because Grasp's a good boss to DPS test on. But that's the setup, everything. Just a couple of clips to show you now. This is just a quick clip showing you a test of the weapon in a solo setting, what sort of damage you can achieve with it. It's not an official test of DPS, but it's showing you the damage potentially it has. Just keep your eyes on target lock on the left. I actually lost it there. Did you notice? I lost it and got it back. So it's critical you don't lose it. This is how key it is to be accurate with the weapon. Right, on Mag 2, we keep target lock all the way to ×4. Boss staggers, we miss a shot, you lose it. But look at the damage we're getting now. But look, I did Trapper's Ambush first, done a mag, then I went to Vanishing Step. So I procced Volatile twice. You're nearly out damaging linear fusion rifles. At times you are, apart from bait and switch and stuff. So we could have got 2 mil damage there. This is a clip of me showing you master champions being killed with the machine gun without the use of champion mods. You can literally kill champions without mods. Look at this. So I go invis first, proc Weak and Clear with Witherhoard, and then just melt with the machine gun. Look at the overload. He can't even regen his HP. That's no overload applied. Overload killed with Volatile. Same thing, but Unstoppable. I didn't stop the champ with Witherhoard, even though I've got it on. I didn't have Unstoppable proc. That's on purpose. To show you how much damage you can do. Look at the target lock. We're going to ×3. We achieve ×4 just at the end, so you can see how long it takes to achieve ×4. Barriers, I wouldn't recommend trying to do this, because it's quite difficult. To kill a barrier without the use of barrier mods on Master. But look at the melt on that. Do you not realise how good that one is there? Without the use of barrier. This is range drop off. So I'm doing maximum damage 3278 against this Lost Sector boss. So I need to find out the meterage of where I lose. So there, around about, so I have 3278's max, 3231 I think that was. That's where I'm experiencing range drop off roughly. So let's switch to Darcy. The boss has stood still, thank God. 44 meters. So look, that's so much range for this machine gun to achieve that style of damage without range drop off. This is showcasing ambush how bad it is. Look at how quickly it goes away, because you can actually test that at the glaive there. It reprocs. It classes the discs as sort of enemies. So this now is just a showcase of Stylish Executioner, right, with Vanishing Step. So you can just reproc invisibility with volatile and then melt everything. So not only is it good melting ads, it's really good on boss damage. So yeah, just a preview of that. In my opinion, volatile is probably going to get fixed before Lightfall. They're probably going to be aware of this. This isn't going to stay in the game because it's probably going to have effect on frames. Imagine 6 people using this. Your frames on in the game, it's going to sort of mess with that. I reckon they'll adjust this, but as long as they don't nerf it to the ground, that's fine. Maybe slightly adjust the volatile rounds activation for this because it shouldn't be as quick. But that was a preview of this gun. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.